Hey there, everybody. Man, getting into some cream. And I tell you what, Ginger Baker, what a base, man. Anyway, happy Friday to everybody. It is Friday all around the world. So, well, maybe not all around, but you know what I'm saying. I think Australia would be actually Saturday. So good morning down in Australia in places all under. So speak favor over all of us this fine day. Nothing missing, nothing broken be in our lives. And I hope the same is for you as well. If you got a birthday anniversary, happy one and enjoy it. My wife and I got one coming up. So anyway, what's up, everybody? Hello, Robert V. How you doing, buddy? And Shannon and David Castle, welcome, and good to see you, Jules DC Chill. How you doing? I like that D Chill 99. Uh, John, good to see you. Carlton, welcome. Nick, hey, what's up, buddy? Boston, right back at you. Deborah Sloan, how you doing? Loretta, Emperor Rex, and Elderberry, and my cat, how you doing? I like that. So what's happening now? A lot going on in the world. I could really get into it, but I'll just stick with the theme. Hey, Kenneth, what's up? Big Al, see you. Melissa, hey, Susie Q, good to see you. Katie, good to see you as well. And Crystal, just welcome everybody. Just thank you for tuning in. Robin, good to see you. And Nicholas, is that, I want to say that that's right. Is that Nicholas? I think that is. Yeah. Anyway, I think I got it. Troy, what's up? Dragon Soul Fox, good to see you. Beloved Abstract. What else is all going on? Charlie, good to see you as well. Gilbert, hello. Stellar Core, good to see you. I think I've heard that before. so good to see everyone, Julie, as well. So I thought about this, and by the way, tonight over on the ladies' channel, the Andromeda 7 Galactic Celestial Portal, ISB 963, Ken will be on. So looking forward to seeing you, Ken. Hey, Gaia, Paul, got your email. I agree. We're going to get together on that. Kayla, good to see you. Melissa as well. So, oh, Michelle's, thank you. See, very simple. It's just a matter of knowing how to interpret what you see and what actually it looks like. So, Nina, what's up, girl? Good to see you. I think you've got, when you were on with us in Trina on your show Sunday night, Robert V's got his on Saturday night. Martin and Heidi, greetings. Good to see you as well. Rob, hello. Isby, what's happening? Driving as you're listening. Well, I'd be playing some tunes. I was just listening to, Cream. And again, Ginger Baker, we all know about Clapton and, the guys in it. But when you listen to Ginger Baker play, bum, 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 I mean, whew, love the bass, it's actually the guitar that I learned on. I was in a band way back, but the bass was always one. I know it was easier to adapt to for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it was just that clarinet and the bassoon and etc. Yeah. So let's see what else. I don't want to say this, but I just don't have a positive feeling for Lost in Space. I just don't. I hope I'm wrong, but yeah. So we just send our love and know this Lost in Space. You got a family here, and we just send you much love. Hey, Steve Zerleth, I know you. I see you have a show right on after this, and and you're having Amber on there. So I think that's wonderful. So y'all tune in over there and subscribe if you haven't. You hear me? So what else? Let's see, Maddie. Fail from grace. We all did. And the thing is, it's a trampoline. Boom. You can get right back up there. You know, it we have to think about laws of nature. Gravity in the contents of falling from grace means that we're at a lower state. Well, that defies all the seven principles. It defies the natural laws of nature. And I probably would say this pretty confident. I believe it also defies the nature and the laws of the spirit realm. I think we've been conned, is what I'm trying to say. Don't think anyone fell from anywhere. And it ties in. It's a perfect tie-in. Talk about the segue. And, that's in the news business. That's how you do that. You want to do the segue. For instance, you're going into the main stories, and then you want to get into your community story. So you do the segue. And besides that, it's a great vehicle to get around on. They're a lot of fun. Lynn and I, when we were traveling a lot, I think we did most of DC on the segways. Got caught into a storm. But anyway, I haven't lost thought. Why we need the supernatural? We do. We need it because it reminds us of what we are. Now, some people get spooky about it. If most people would realize when they go into these ghost hunting shows that why do they get scared? I mean, what do you think you're going to find? Isn't that why you're there? You want to get scared, right? You want to see what a spirit's like. And, spirits, they got sense of humor, Now, some got tragedy areas, no doubt about that. That leaves a very negative energy. But I think many of them, just enjoy scaring the crap out of people. I really do. And then you get into this whole thing. All right. So if that is happening, right, and there's plenty of evidence that shows that it is, so then where did they get off the light beam? I mean, isn't it what we're told is that when you pass over, you're going to see the great light and you're going to go to the light? Well, what happened here? I mean, we see grandmas, grandpas, we see kids, we see dogs, we see cats, we see, shadow people, we see some really weird beings. So what happened there? What? They didn't get the ticket? I mean, how are they staying here? I mean, you got places in many parts of the world, very ancient, very old, say that they're haunted and they have evidence of ancient spirits. Are they really spirits? I don't know. I mean, what's going on here? Are they human? Because, it doesn't fit the narratives of virtually every religion that's out there. So what's happening? And then we term it supernatural, or now we call it paranormal. Well, I don't know what really paranormal really means, because if it's unless that it's showing how limited our understanding really is. And that's why the study with the angels, it's interesting, gotten some interesting emails on how people perceive angels, how they perceive demons. And I can relate to it. I was there once myself. And, it's like going into a IMAX 3D theater. If you don't have the glasses, you're not going to have a good experience. It's going to suck. But if you put the glasses on, where everything comes into focus and you have a marvelous experience. I think that's what they've done to us where the teaching of angels are concerned. I mean, if you go in without the proper view, it's going to become very distorted, very disjointed. It will be uncomfortable. But if you simply put on the glasses and see what the view really is, it's not that bad. It really isn't. I was thinking about this early this morning. I was up really early and just looking out, you know, um, Orion is now up on the horizon. And if you go by this whole thing of what magic is, the occult, paganism, um, you know, angels, demons, it seems like we're stuck then in time itself, universal time, because it never seems to play out. It seems to be an ever-present constant, just with a lot of souls passing through. And if you stop and step back and look at this, that's just freaking weird. So you have this paradigm of opposites. Opposites attract, likes repel. Well, how does that work? Because if you like someone, it's because you're attracted to them. And if you become attractive, and, it can lead to other things. But if I use the polarity factor, that should repel. And if I take the paradigm that there is good and evil, then as below, so above, as above, so below, as in, so it is out. So it tells me that the next realm is not perfection. It's not heaven. It's not hell. It's something that we're going to adjust to, just like every newborn does coming in. And then if you think about the reincarnation, the math doesn't work on that. It's flawed. And if you study the angels would say, don't move so fast here, Jack. You have the paradigm. Do we only get one bite at the apple? Talking about this physical realm here. Because if you follow the logic, there's apparently endless realms awaiting us, most likely behind us. And to say that we get caught up into the Ouroboros, where we're basically chasing our tails in time, I'm not buying that either. Not buying that the fact that we are so limited that there's only bucket A or bucket B while we're here. I don't buy the fact that if I'm in a religion and make a vow that then I'm allowed to interact with the spirit realm, but if I'm apart from that, then somehow it's forbidden. Wait a minute, why? And then you're telling me that the cockamamie story, and listen, I just say it's cockamamie because I know these beings exist, but if you look at the foundation of which, particularly look at Solomon's angels, something's missing here. Now, what I like about John King, and we're going to get into his writing, is that that's what he does. His other books are very much, he is a practicer of demonology. Now that immediately spooks people out. But it's you. You're the one that's got the problem. They don't. You prematurely judge them by a standard that is foul to begin with. Because most standards, when I ask people what is good, you can't answer it. And I ask you what is evil, you can't answer that either. Because if you do, I'll tear you apart and I'll tell you that you're most likely dealing in a King James God spell. Very few have the ability to really self-determine what is good or evil. And if you follow the 7 principles of the Hermetic, right? Good, bad are the same things. Just different degrees. It's like cold and hot. They're the same thing. And so I'm saying all this because it makes the adventure into the supernatural so much more fun. Listen, the only reason why people go to church is to see the supernatural. They hope to experience something from an unseen power. That's why, Pentecostalism is not for everyone. But I have found, because I come out of that, is that is what I would call modern day Christian Kabbalism. And that's what I come out of. And why? Because the supernatural was not weird. Now, it was weird in the construct that they put the polar opposites. But if you really step back now, as I have, a demon is no different than an angel. Not at all. Angels are not automatons. They have personalities. They have emotions. They can get pissed off and they can get joyfully glee. And the daemons, Latin meaning divine ones, which through the translation of the King James spell, put it as a demon. And then from there, you get all the cockamamie imaginative works coming out of the Dark Ages that saturated the Enlightenment period, that brings us today into this kind of just freaky realm where, we love being scared because that feels good. Being scared releases endorphins. Yeah. That's why you usually, people that are in intense situations of survival, that's why they many times have such great passion. It brings it on. But the same would go for what we would call demons. Lilith taught us that there's no difference in the two. It's just, different races. But again, it gets back to the point of the supernatural. Why do we want to pursue Gnosticism? Why do we want to pursue the hidden arts? Why? Because it's the supernatural. It involves us. I did a little experiment. I have a number of these angel sigils that I have charged, and I have them on my wall. All I got to tell you is we're not in Kansas anymore. There's an emanating presence that's it's very interesting psychologically, because you look at them and, I've traced every one of their names and their sigils out, and, you got that connected. And now I'm rereading the Lesser Keys of Solomon, which really gives you a good introduction to some of the highest ranking demons. And it's not that bad. There's a lot of good ones in there. It's interesting, if you follow this story, depending on your belief system, it was the demons who built the temple. Now, isn't that weird? In Jerusalem, the first temple. So you would think that the angels would do that, right? Because you got the energy, right? But you got the demons, the chief demons on top of that, building a temple for a God that they hate. What's going on here, Sam? I have no idea. And so here we find ourselves. And we'll continue to reading today, but I got to tell you, Al's working on the flashcards. You can get the 72 archangels with Nathan's work. I've left that in there, the link below. You have the books. You can buy the 72 angels, or if you can't afford it, just email me and we'll get it in your hands. So there is only one truth, and even Throth knew this. Yeah, it's true. But what is that truth? And whose perspective? Whose perspective is defining truth? How are we defining what is qualified to say what is truth? I live in a realm, as you do, where truth is elusive. Truth is illusionary. Anyway. Yeah. And you see, and that is Abrahamic belief system, Nick. It's the God spell. I did a whole series on it. You gotta free yourself from it. And it's a spell. You don't believe me? You think about it. Those who've come out of Christianity, and there's many in here that listen to me that have come out of Islam. There's many that are still in it, but they appreciate the teachings. So it becomes a factor of, well, all right. If they are, then who are? And who are they really working for? Now, I'm not a fan of Yahweh, but I understand that I am not worshiping Yahweh. I've asked these angels the question, why do you worship another spirit? See, that's one thing I don't get. If we're all the same, we all came from the same source, then wouldn't that directly imply we're worshiping ourselves? If you're going to worship something, why? If it's not human, why are you worshiping something so alien? And if it is human, why are you worshiping another human? It's the small things in life. And I even have some question on the emerald tablets. And listen, someone wrote that. And again, they've made a belief system out of it. And I don't think that that is what true wisdom or knowledge is. Well, that's just me. It's just, I love this because you see, even in this, I'm watching the chat room. It's amazing because, this is why we all come together. KT says, yeah, it is also confusing. It is. It really is. I don't understand the worship thing. I can remember back in the days when I would pray in the spirit and lay prostrate before the Lord. And I'll just be honest with you, there were times when this small voice come in and said, what the freak are you doing, dude? But I kept putting that voice down, Now I've left the voice out, and I do ask myself and I ask others, what the freak are you doing? It certainly hasn't been to mankind's benefit. Not that what I'm seeing. I think the time for magic has come. My personal belief is it's time to put the old religions out. If we have truly entered into a new age, a new epoch, a new era, the old religions must die. They hold nothing for anything in humanity. They brought us a lot of death, a lot of suffering, a lot of hate, and a lot of divisions. And I contend, if we're truly going into the age of Aquarius, then we need to put the gods of the bull behind us because it's all bullshit. And it's time now to get a fresh perspective. That is my commentary. I don't care if it's 1 John 4:4 or whatever it is. Listen, it is, again, people don't understand. Listen, if there's any Christians in here, I just challenge you. Show me in the Bible where it names a Christian God. I challenge you. Show me chapter and verse where it names a Christian God. Tell me where it names a Christian Savior. I'm not eating any more bullshit. Okay. I probably pissed off enough people, but Steve says, I want to know how we were in the age of Gemini. I think we were happy, to be honest with you, Steve. I think we were very happy. At least we had our doubles, right? I mean, what is it? If a person's a schizophrenic and they try to commit suicide, isn't that a hostage situation? I'm just saying. The worship is because there is a covenant. The truth is determined through the etymology, but few can handle the truth. Again, you are under the Abrahamic spell. You're trying to tell me that God is an ancient Mesopotamian Hebraic deity called the Elohim. I don't think so. I don't think so at all. But that's just me. I love getting engaged, So, but anyway, yeah. I always talk about religion, boy. That'll always get everyone going, arguing perspective is useless, and in not just wondering how you reach their conclusions. Those answers are there. Yeah. Everyone's got their opinion. That's the way I say. I don't buy it. I am well versed probably than most here. So, but anyway, that's just me. I think schizophrenia is overdiagnosed. Now, that's a good one. I like that. Someone says the Abrahamic spell is corrupted. It's a spell. It is. There is no doubt about it. Well, you're talking about the word, and so you're talking about the Bible, and quite frankly, that doesn't fly here, but you're welcome to it. And no need to be trying to proselytize anyone here. You're not going to make any conversion, and we appreciate the participation because all points of view are welcome. But debate, I will disagree with you. Debate is good. It's when I was in Bible school, we found out that, the dude that wrote 2/3, in fact, it's probably says that he is the beginning of the religion, but Paul was really a very good public debater. So, well, Steph, where's mama? Come on. The problem is, again, you're into this really sexist thing. It's always him, he, but we never see she or her. Why is that? I don't know. All right, let's get right back into this book. Like I said, I have become probably pissed off a number of people, but hey, that's what I do. No, actually, what I try to do is share knowledge, and I have my right because I came out of it. So I don't speak about other belief systems or religions because I have no foundation in that. I do have the foundation of what I came out of, which makes me an expert. So, again, we speak English. That's all I can say. After 5 years, I became a master. I won't even finish that. But Scotty, I do understand. Absolutely. Thank you, Norseman. Yeah, being offended is a choice. It really is. I often say that if you're pissed off, just remember, see the positive side of it. It's better than being pissed on. Just kind of saying, all right. Cheers. Hello, beloved abstract. All right. We all smile here, no matter what. At the end of the day, we walk out. Hey, by the way, Al is working on a t-shirt, which I happen to like a lot. Says, I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take this anymore. So say we all. I like this. I think it's time for us to get this on the merchandise. And folks, you need to buy one. That's all I got to tell you. We need to buy these and start wearing these all around wherever you go. Really got a lot of response last night. A lot of response, and it's quite interesting. Yeah, someone said, you're probably on a list. And I said, well, I'm probably on every one of them. So anyway, you just got to remember freedom is a choice as well. And the most precious thing that we have are our freedoms. So there we go. All right, let's get into psychic powers. Why we want this, why we need the supernatural? Because it makes life here, oh, so much more enriched. It really is. Again, I came out where the 12 gifts of the Spirit provide humans with psychic powers. And you can actually, there is a specific gift that allows you to see the future. So again, it's just a matter of your perspective of how you see this. I believe that we all were and are psychically equipped. I believe that we're also we are naturally telepathic, but they certainly tampered that down. All right, humans possess the same powers through which all other sparks act in creating magical effects. We do not need to supplicate the more powerful intelligences in order to obtain the same use of the same influence they exert. Our awareness, unfortunately, must confine itself to the overwhelming effects of our physical senses. This limits our access to psychic powers, since our bodies need constant vigilance in order to preserve the mind which directs them. And if you think about it, the amount of energy it takes to maintain these bodies, the brain, of which begin to supply the ability for us to interface in this dimension, a lot of energy. I think that's why the Buddhist monks and the shaman and others, that when they begin to discipline their body to the point where they basically channel all that energy into their spirit, makes them powerful. The psychic powers act most readily in support of the same physical systems, which often prohibit their use. For example, charms and glamours made to attract mates serve the need of the physical sexual organs as the brain recognizes them. The powers of clairvoyance acquiesces to the demands of an eye which must strain beyond its limits. Clairaudience to the listener of a voice too distant to hear. Learning to stimulate the body origins of psychic powers makes them available for the mind to detect. Access to psychic powers demands no equipment, no special considerations of time and place, nor does it involve other spirits in any way whatsoever. The mind alone controls all the power that the body may attract and manipulate. In this book, you will learn the disciplines through which you will learn. You may perform impressive physical feats, create illusions, heal, endure harsh conditions, and obtain knowledge beyond your resources. Physical sensation. All knowledge has its root in the trillions of nerve cells filing in the human body. Even awareness of thoughts themselves exist only as the interaction of light and chemical within the neural complex of the brain. The first discipline, therefore, concerns gaining control over the entire nervous system. All of the other disciplines depend on this, as indeed they each build upon each other. Obtain access to a calm body of water or a large bath. Enter the water with bare feet and take a full accounting of the sensations associated with this experience. Your feet will likely secure the better part of your attention, but strive instead to recognize other sensations that surround the event and give it a defining characteristics beyond having your feet into the water. Exit the water and then do some walking or some other activity where your feet get dry and comfortable. Set your feet together as you had them in the water and attempt to recall every sensory detail of having them there. When you can produce the sensation of having your feet in water, proceed to creating the same sensation elsewhere in your body. Continue to experiment with different stimuli, memorizing each sensation until you can reproduce them at will. Definitely take some practice. Brainstorming. It seems highly inappropriate for people professing to carry on the art of Magick to concentrate so heavily on the disciplines of Hinduism, its ancient adversary. Those seeking to perfect themselves in the occult end up getting a diluted form of Buddhism or Hinduism, meditation, and yoga. These practices have produced far more fools than Farquhars, or some we must establish instead a more distinct and relevant discipline to suit the needs of prospective wizards. We will call this practice brainstorming. Lest any confusion of terms arise, this practice does not differ from the ordinary usage of the word brainstorming. When I was in the corporate world, we had regular brainstorming sessions, and magic happened. To brainstorm, decide upon any subject, most conveniently a problem, freely associate all related factors, and may I add, get a whiteboard and apply them to each other rapidly. Continue until you receive some flash of insight or inspiration. These flashes literally represent real synapses connections forming in the brain, creating new pathways between neuron groups. They may have duplicates in the body in the form of physical sensations or hallucinations if the connected areas concern the functions of the parts in which these effects occur. And I can tell you, many of you come out of the business world, and brainstorming, as I look back at now, it's a ritual. You mean you have people coming together. In our case, it was in our conference room. The conference room at my company, I had them install whiteboards, the material in the conference room. It went from literally the floor to the ceiling. And everyone, when you came into the conference room for the brainstorming sessions, and we did it regularly, you come in with your eraser and you come in with your markers. Now, sometimes we eventually got one where we could actually take pictures, but it was remarkable. We would come together. We would typically break bread, which is very communal. And it got us all into the same wavelength. And like I said, great things come out of it. All right, the 7 disciplines of psychic power. Many people have expressed impatience with popular chakra meditation in both its requirement for long-term commitment and its an inability to produce any substantial result. In part, these frustrations stem from the difficult terminology associated with Hinduism. Alternative approaches to the same powers often draw from Chinese esotericism. And here again, the Taoist terminology can add more confusion than help. The anatomical systems of the prana and the chi within the body represent early attempts to describe phenomena now known to medicine as the adrenochrome and the nervous system. One wishing to study the mechanisms through which psychic powers work would do better to study anatomy than yoga. Recent reworking of these systems appears in the works of Dr. John Lilly and in the dynamics of L. Ron Hubbard, although, as with ancient systems, attainment requires extreme dedication. Having come out of and experienced the EST in the 80s, you got to be careful with that. I'll just put in my 2 cents worth. EST was it was it was cultish, is the best thing I can say. And it was really interesting because EST, particularly those of you who went through that, it had more professional people than had stockbrokers, investment bankers, lawyers. It's interesting. That's all I'll say about that, but that's just my opinion. We present the following exercises built on the techniques of physical sensation and brainstorming as a means of accessing abilities associated with the centers of power in Indian and Chinese systems of mysticism. They are shortcuts to the activation of these centers and will allow you to examine and apply these powers at will without the years of study and practice normally required. This method is intentionally anathema to the generally accepted long-term methods applied by numerous mystics. The first discipline concentrates the power of the spinal base, permeating feats of strength and stamina. The desire of work, hunt, the flight depend on the basic survival impulses for their success. Few people have the experience of a truly disastrous survival situation, but almost everyone has felt hunger, even if only for a few minutes. By simulating the experience of desperate hunger in an otherwise healthy body by using brainstorming to increase the intensity of the results, you will find yourself able to overcome impossible opponents and difficult labors. It's interesting. When I was coming down with meningitis, already had Lyme disease, didn't know it. It is curious because when I face challenges, and we all do, it's amazing. I do remember that intensity of head pain. It's quite amazing that it does lend to later down in life your strength and your ability, your tenacity. I can see that. The second discipline employs the ordinary functions of the sex organs towards the acquisition of charisma when you would otherwise find it lacking. It should pose no difficulty to produce a state of sexual arousal. During these periods, note that the state of arousal has several non-physical components. Use a particular feeling of comfort or tension. Use these secondary attributes as the basis of two concentration practices upon which these disciplines depend. Great endurance against extreme conditions are the hallmarks of the third psychic discipline, which focuses the power of the stomach, the diaphragm, and the adrenal glands. Extreme agitation provokes the response necessary to acquire these powers, and a subject of spite makes an ideal focus for this discipline, even if the subject of the concentration has no involvement with your present or future activities. Now that's interesting. Extreme agitation. It's personally, I don't like a state like that. I mean, but there is a lot of adrenaline flowing, and I can certainly see where getting in that state, I guess if you're doing it purposely, I mean, even then, that kind of say that I don't know if I could actually, that would take a very great deal of discipline to focus the powers of the stomach, diaphragm, and adrenal glands. Extreme agitation provokes the response necessary to acquire these powers. Well, all knowledge comes with a cost. So, I mean, if that's the desire, then I'm sure people can accomplish it. The fourth discipline can be used to identify the presence of bodily disorders and to eliminate them. These can range from actual diseases to undue aggressions found in other people or yourself. Envious thoughts exist to some degree in any person. Examining these thoughts using the brainstorm technique will produce agitations in your own body. Wow, now that's interesting. Through continued focus on these disturbances, which will appear to grow consistently stronger, the conditions they represent will gradually lose their hold on your body, eventually dissipating as if boiled away. Well, that's curious. What do y'all think? The fifth discipline can make speech well received by listeners and can make confusing ideas more easily understood. In its most dramatic form, this manifests as clairaudience, instruction in an intelligible, and unambiguous way about unknown facts. Even in a place of complete silence, some sound will seem to exist, even if it comes from no source beyond your own body, just as sight does not disappear when your eyes close. Focus intensely on what you hear, to the exclusion of other senses, to benefit from this awesome ability. I was in a practice once where you get quiet enough, and if you have those noise canceling headphones, where you begin to focus in on your heartbeat. And it's an interesting experience because that heartbeat is everything. It's life, at least life in this body. And it's quite interesting when the mind and the heart really begin to get in sync. And it's interesting. How many of you have tried that? The sixth psychic discipline provides visual knowledge of otherwise unavailable facts. This will also increase the depth and detail of ordinary vision so that things normally overlooked do not pass unseen. Identity consists greatly of the reactions you draw from the immediate environment. Sight, smells, and other senses overwhelm thought and give a sense of self at the central location of these phenomena as the witness, audience, and recipient of these impressions. Since the sense organs reside on the head, the possible sense the brain processing them also rests within the head. The concept of one's identity tends also to match the placement of the head and the attached body. The brain permits very little alteration of this natural assumption of the place. However, the types of awareness provided by the senses can move far beyond their normal organic habitat. For this discipline, the act of thinking forms the physical sensation that forms the basis of the practice. The object of brainstorming in this discipline concerns the jostling of point of awareness first in different locations within the head, next to other locations in the body, and finally to exterior destinations of increasing distance. You must achieve a trance-like state to benefit from this ability and concentrate on the images of what you remember. How individuals, places, and other everyday items look should be summoned to the mind-eye at will before relying on it for visions of truth. The seventh center of power is located within the brain. This discipline has two modes, spatial and temporal, both leading to the experience of exterior consciousness. The spatial mode of the decorporealization requires that you find your inner voice, the location of your thoughts, and expand that area to your entire head. Boy, I have done this. Once accomplished, expand it to your body, the room in which you sit, your entire dwelling area, your block, and your city. Press with your awareness outwards until it encompasses the earth and the very stars. When you finally have done this correctly, having expanded the perception of your own existence to the point of absurdity, you will seem to be floating in outer space. Rennie would remind me of this. I did the video last year when this experience happened to me. Made a video right after it happened. And it's far out, folks. It is really far out. And it's not that difficult. Although he's saying that, you can follow all these steps. I think that there is wisdom in that. But I can tell you, if you meditate already, there's many different ways of it. It's one of those things that maybe we all have done, that is locating where your thoughts originate from. What a fascinating journey it is. All right, a reversal of the process may begin by selecting any point within the sphere of awareness, then returning to the scale to its ordinary state. At no time during this process should the senses grow cloudy or the idea of expansion progress beyond their capacity to experience it. Any equilibrium is eventually gained wherein the thoughts and senses exist on a scale equivalent to their original location within your body, save for the fact that they no longer appear connected to it and may move about at will. The temporal mode of the seventh discipline permits the exercise of bilocation and numerous feats of dubious merit, but unquestionably bizarre effects. To begin, choose an experience from your past that had an especially strong connection to one of your senses. Attempt to relive the experience in the imagination using only a non-dominant sense while occupying your currently dominant sense with an unrelated distraction. Did you get that? Continue this practice without interruption for as long as is necessary to produce a complete repetition of the experience, as if dreaming while continuing the distraction. Duplication of the full sensory range constitutes success in this discipline. And for the temporal mode of practice, this will result in the creation of a second self with which others may interact. It bears mention that this person will act independently and without any guidance or understanding beyond that possessed during the time of the chosen focal memory. Did we just read that right? The temporal mode of the seventh discipline. I mean, did y'all pick up that, you're almost, in a sense, creating a duplicate of yourself? I don't know if it would be a doppelganger. The temporal mode of the seventh discipline permits the exercise of bilocation and numerous feats of dubious merit, but unquestionably bizarre effects. No kidding. To begin, choose an experience from your past that had an especially strong connection to one of your senses. Okay. Attempt to relive the experience in the imagination using only a non-dominant sense while occupying you currently dominate sense. Currently dominated sense with an unrelated distraction. Okay. Continue this practice without interruption as long as necessary to produce a complete repetition of the experience. It's a lot of mental discipline, I know, as if dreaming while continuing the distraction. Duplication of the full sensory range constitutes success in this discipline. And for the temporal mode of practice, this will result in the creation of a second self with which others may interact. That sounds like a doppelganger to me, doesn't it to you? It bears mention that this person will act independently. Okay. And without any guidance or understanding beyond that possessed during the time of the chosen focal memory. Well, that I am not so sure. Listen, that's why we read these books. We're learning. This is interesting. I would have to really meditate on that one. Meditate on the meditating of making yourself a doppelganger. And that's what I'm picking up on here. It's that is so interesting. I love the artwork in here too, by the way. Isn't that cool? Okay. We'll pick up on this, the myth of dreaming. Wow. I got to tell you, what does the chat room say? This is interesting. It really is. Oh, I see everyone's talking about the other thing. Anyway, let's get back to what the subject matter is here. How many of you think that this is also talking about a doppelganger? Still working on controlling your dreams. Yeah. Okay. Prince, I happen to think so. I mean, now this is interesting. I myself don't find any particular reason for that. Um, I have enough just to deal with the one, me. And to think that it will act independently, I don't think I like that at all. I mean, but think about it. I mean, you can carry that out, way out and go, uh, okay, you said it is very interesting. Yeah, it's I have to say, we read a lot here, and this is why I enjoy it so much. This one is that one I'm going to really think about. Again, when I first read it, I wasn't really sure it was saying what I thought it was saying, and now reading it here in the group, it is saying what it's saying. It's literally saying, well, we're going to create another one of you. No, I don't think so. No, no, no. One of me is enough. So, all right. That was fun. Lucky, what do you have to say? See, that's what I was thinking. A Tupla, yeah, yeah, yeah. It seems exactly. Nina says us in a different timeline. That's interesting. MK Ultra type of mind coitus. Yeah. Okay, sure. Now, Raven, that's interesting. Doppelgangers could be protection of ours as well. Interesting. I like that point of view. Um, Different realms. Yeah. Okay. Michelle, yes. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Stealth, enough of the, listen, I understand your point of view, but don't push it because um, it won't have a good conversation after that. I appreciate your belief systems, but again, be respectful. There are many belief systems in here, and yours is not the right one. It's right for you, but it's certainly not right for everyone else. And if we can keep that attitude, then and stop with the judgmental little pricks. I don't like that because I'll delete you out. So, do you and I understand each other now? No, sir. I happen to disagree with you, and I've had enough. Bye. I'm sorry, folks. It's sad when like that. I mean that was yeah. Um, we wish him the best, and as he goes, we wish him well. It's and there was a sense of an energy in here when I started this, and it's sad that when you have people who can't seem to have it, and stealth. Listen. Um, yeah, sad thing. I'm not going to allow that energy to permeate me. I just won't. I won't receive it, and I don't need it. And it's just the way it is. It's my channel, and just the way it is. I try to be respectful to everyone, but that's just what happens. So, uh, so anyway, thank you, everyone. apologize for the little interruption there. You know, it's just sometimes it's sad that you know, it started out in what I would call a passive aggressive position, and it didn't stop. So there we go. I don't like passive aggressive people. They're very dangerous. And when they write, and you can see how they write, it was, you know, exactly to get a response. And anyway, I've given enough to it. So that's why we have delete. That's right, Marty. That's exactly what we have. I love all of you folks. Thank you. Y'all are the best. And, you know, I think this is the most accepting group I have ever come across in my journeys in this realm, in this planet. And you sustain me, and I try to reciprocate in kind. So, yeah, and I won't let someone come in here. When there's a lot of people who join this soul tribe, and they come from diverse backgrounds, but the thing is, they don't try to, you know, we know. All right. Much love to you. Enjoy your weekend. Steve is on his live show, so I'm going to get off here. See the ladies tonight over on Andromeda 7. They've got ISB 963 tomorrow night with Soul Tribe with Robert V. And then Sunday night with Nina on Sin Sunday. So there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Martin, Heidi. Much love to you too. Y'all are just so groovy. Thank you. All right, folks.